Please subscribe. Keep us alive.
Naguabo Municipal Police Commissioner Juan Alexis Hernandez Suarez was arrested earlier this week for an alleged incident of gender violence dating back to September 11, 2020 in the Pasto Seco neighborhood in Macau, police reported Wednesday. According to the police report, Hernandez Suarez's 39-year-old ex-partner alleges that he attacked her using his hands on different parts of her body. The Macau Criminal Investigation Corps Specialized Division of Domestic Violence consulted the case with prosecutor Miguel Romero, who on Tuesday gave instructions for the detainee to be placed in a cell, for the possible filing of criminal charges.
Puerto Rico Governor Pedro Pierluisi declared a state of emergency this year over a tide of violence against women. A recent study by the Organization for Economic Cooperative and Development notes the region has the world's highest rates of femicide, with over a quarter of women experiencing violence from an intimate partner at least once in their lifetime. The U.S. territory registered the world's highest per capita rate of women over the age of 14 killed by their partners.
Experts caution, the Surfside Condo collapse should be a lesson for Puerto Rico. Nearly 4 years after Hurricane Maria hit the island, hundreds of condominiums and government buildings remain unrepaired while the owners wait to be paid by their insurers, in order to conduct necessary repairs. In 2020, the New York Times published a story about these large, mostly foreign-headquartered insurance companies who have routinely ignored, denied or underpaid claim holders on the island. It's estimated that as many as 750,000 Puerto Ricans are still living in units that have not been repaired since the first storm hit. A short flight away from Surfside, on the island of Puerto Rico, there are scores of damaged condos sitting along stretches of ocean. Jack Hanks, the president and CEO of Velocity Public Adjusting in Scottsdale, Arizona, has raised concerns. "I've spent the past several years working as a public adjuster in Puerto Rico, assessing the damage from 2 major hurricanes and a devastating earthquake and making recommendations about the fixes necessary to bring large condominiums and government buildings, such as the San Juan Capitol building, up to code and to help ensure the safety of these buildings and their residents."
San Juan Mayor Miguel Romero Lugo announced Wednesday that the official activities for the celebration of 500 years since the founding of Puerto Rico's capital city will take place from September 10 to 13. There will be exhibitions, artistic and cultural presentations, a concert with international stars, academic talks and cultural tours. Later on, a detailed calendar of activities will be offered for what is being called the Celebration of History. You can follow the event on Facebook at https://www.facebook.com/shootedcapital.
After a tense day marked by the shortage of gasoline and the threat to other supplies, the Puerto Rico Truckers Coalition and the government, last night, reached an agreement that put an end to the strike of transporters. The truckers made the call as they prepared for the start of an indefinite stoppage of their freight services, at midnight Wednesday, in order to push the Oversight Board to allow the Transportation and Public Service to adjust the rates, which have not changed since 2005.
The Supreme Court of Puerto Rico authorized the transmission of the preliminary hearing against Miguel Ocasio Santiago, accused of the murder of Andrea Ruiz Coatas. Santiago faces criminal charges for murder in the first degree, destruction of evidence and violation of the gun law. He has reportedly confessed to the murder. The victim went to court on more than one occasion to ask for a protection order and report Miguel Ocasio Santiago for attacks and threats. The judges who heard the case failed to act. Santiago allegedly ended up killing Ruiz Coatas and partially burning her body on April 29.
The trial against Jensen Medina Cordona continues in the Fajardo court. Medina Cordona faces trial for first-degree murder and gun law violations for the death of Arellys Mercado. The accused defense team asserts that the shooting was accidental.
An Ohio man federal prosecutors say is an incel was charged in federal court this week with attempting a hate crime for his plot to kill women. Trace Genco, 21, was arrested Wednesday and is also facing charges related to illegally possessing a machine gun, according to the Justice Department. Prosecutors say Genco identified as an incel or an involuntary celibate, a community of mostly men who harbor anger toward women who they believe owe them sexual or romantic attention. Some incels seek to commit violence to support this belief.
Haiti, Violence erupts before the funeral of President Jovenel Moïse. The riots occurred a day after Ariel Henry was sworn in as the nation's new prime minister.
The United States to impose sanctions on Cuban officials for human rights abuses after unprecedented protests erupted on the island. The sanctions are part of the response of the government of President Joe Biden to the situation on the island.
Tokyo. The COVID-delayed Tokyo Summer Olympics officially began with a parade of athletes, more than 200 of them from Team USA, waving flags and marching inside a mostly empty stadium. It's not clear yet what else will happen during ceremonies, which was a chance to showcase the host country and inspire pride from countries throughout the world. But these are no ordinary games, with strict restrictions in place to try to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Even things behind the scenes are strange. Just days ago, the ceremony's creative director and musical composer were both fired.
The International Miss Universe pageant began in 1952 and, since then, Puerto Rico has had 5 winners, 7 first finalists, 6 finalists, and 2 semi-finalists. The most recent winner is Estefanía Soto Torres, the 2020 Miss Universe Puerto Rico. Estefanía Soto, 26, who represented the people of San Sebastián and was the first finalist in the Miss Universe Puerto Rico 2019 pageant, and was crowned as the new representative to Miss Universe Puerto Rico 2020. Puerto Rico is definitely famous for its beautiful people.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Help us survive.